Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. John Kelly Profiler here, and welcome. Welcome to part 44 of our very sad series, Who Killed Libby German and Abby Williams. It's been going on a long time, right, folks? However, I think we're getting closer. I think we're getting really, really close here to something happening. I'd like to see somebody get charged and prosecuted as soon as possible. Welcome to today's show, which is going to be called The Breakdown. I'm going to break down Kegan Kline's interview for you. I'm going to give you my thoughts and my comments on it. I think it's an interview that should be commented on. Also, I want to thank you all for purchasing my book, Discovering Lazarus. I can't thank you enough for all your kind words, for all your purchases. It really means a lot to me. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly of John Kelly, how I was a drug addict, became a counselor, eventually a psychotherapist and a profiler. It's all here. Thank you so much, again, for all your positive feedback and all your purchases. So anyway, before I get into Kegan Kline, I want to talk about a movie that is coming up. And this is a movie we've been waiting for quite a while. We finally got a release date on it. It's going to be released in theaters on October 19th, and then it's going to be on Netflix on October 26th. Now, the name of this movie is called The Good Nurse. And The Good Nurse is a movie about Charles Cullen, a serial killer nurse in New Jersey. And he was arrested by Tim Braun, a very good friend and colleague of mine, and his partner, Danny Baldwin. These guys did a fantastic job in arresting and setting up a case that would eventually be prosecuted. And Charles Cullen would plead guilty. I'm pretty sure he pled guilty to approximately 40 murders, but truly I believe his murders are in the hundreds. I mean, he was running around from hospital to hospital to hospital, New Jersey and Pennsylvania, for many, many years. I mean, I think well over a decade, and just getting passed around and killing people, patients in those hospitals. So I think you're really going to enjoy seeing Timmy in action and his partner, Danny Baldwin. They really do an unbelievable and extraordinary job in arresting Charles Cullen, the Angel of Death in New Jersey. Nothing like having a nurse become a major serial killer and be called the Angel of Death. And I did not technically work this case. I was not technically involved with this case. But of course, Timmy and I have done other projects together. And I talked to him about this case. And I will tell you, you will not forget this movie when you see it. You will remember it. So more on that to come as we lead up to October 19th and October 26th. There will also be a documentary coming out right after the movie or about the time as the movie. I'm not sure yet. I'll find out and let you know. Also, I'd like to give a shout out to It's a Criming Shame. A criming shame. Not a crying shame, criming shame. Did a little play on words there. These guys are pretty artistic. And they can be fun to watch, too. They did an exclusive video on Kegan Kline and, where he was recorded. And that was probably about 5 or 6 days ago. But it is really, really well worth watching when they start to get into analyzing various things about him, how he looks, what he had to say, how he seems to be feeling. I can't go over all of it with you because there's just a lot there, but it's clinically rich if you're listening and you're listening to what they're bringing up about Kegan Kline. And again, that's a criming shame. I think you'll really get a clear understanding of the stress that this man is under, and rightfully so. But they really get into it and break it down in a nice way. We would say that the information they're putting out is clinically rich. We think you'll enjoy it. So kudos to a criming shame. So anyway, at this point in time, let's get on with our interview with Kegan. And of course, this was produced by HLN. And we're picking it up from the news station WTHER. And then that's what we want to comment on the news that they put out.
I feel like I'm being harassed completely.
Stop it right there. I feel I'm being harassed completely. Now keep in mind, this is a man who feels he's being harassed completely, okay, who's in jail for catfishing all these various young, innocent, underage girls in various stages of undress, and many of them naked. So he's feeling that he's being harassed. Now, right there, you can see how much empathy is in this man for others. His focus is on me. What are you doing to me? You're persecuting me, you're harassing me. Not even taking into consideration what he did to these young girls and conning them and manufacturing this profile. Okay, this shots profile of this model and pretending to be this guy and conning him into sending him naked pictures of themselves. You know, so poor Kegan. Let's feel sorry for Kegan. He feels he's being harassed here. Next one.
Did you have anything to do with the murders of Abby or Libby?
Not at all, and I've gave up my DNA, a hair follicle test. I've done everything they wanted me to.
I've given up my DNA. I've given up a hair follicle test. I've done everything they wanted me to do. What does that have to do with the price of nuts? The question was, did you have anything to do with killing Abby and Libby? Okay, real easy to say what he said in the beginning. Absolutely nothing, not at all. Okay, that's the answer. You know, when you ask somebody what time it is, and they can tell you, well, it's 2 o'clock or 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock. But if you ask somebody what time it is, and they start to tell you how to make a watch, then you know you're dealing with somebody that's got some problems. All he had to do was say, no, not at all. I had nothing to do with it. Oh, no, they've taken my hair. They've taken my DNA. You know, they've gone over me extensively. But what does that have to do with the price of beans? I mean, she didn't ask you what proof they have against you. She just asked you if you had anything to do with it. And you're going into you're saying not at all, but then you're going into a story. We don't have results back. Who know? I mean, what do we know about results from DNA, hair follicles, whatever? So when anybody starts to talk a little too much and protest a little too much, and protesting is key, to something that has a simple answer, that's when you want to be on your guard and you want to focusing on exactly what they're saying.
Tell me about Anthony Schatz. Why did you create that profile?
I don't really know. I was just lonely, you know what I mean? Just talking to people. I don't know why I did it really.
And were you ever trying to meet these girls in real life that you were talking
No.
to?
No, never.
I was just lonely and talking to people, you know. Lonely people go out and hang out with other people, so they're not lonely. Lonely people call people up on the phone to see how they're doing, so they're not lonely. They have some kind of conversation or they socialize in some way. Lonely people, you know, go off to a meeting of some sort. Lonely people go to a movie. Lonely people get on the internet. I mean, do you know how many dating sites and different sites there are on there that they can chat on with someone? Okay? Lonely people really can do pretty much anything or a lot of things to help them with their loneliness. So they're not lonely. However, lonely people, the vast majority of lonely people, do not create a fake false profile that takes plenty of time, plenty of thought, and plot out how to stalk young, innocent, underage girls to con them and get pictures out of them in the nude and then call up some of them and talk to them or talk back and forth with them in a chat or an email. I mean, lonely people do not do this. Again, he's just lonely. Okay, it shows his empathy, care, concern. It's not there. It's not there. Lonely people don't act like this, Kegan. Bottom line. Just because somebody's lonely, they don't come up with some unbelievable scheme on how to get women, how to get young girls naked and to take pictures of themselves and send them to you. That's not what lonely people do. Go ahead.
So why do you think investigators are putting so much focus on you right now?
I have not a clue. I think it's because they said I was the last person to talk to her, is what they've told me.
And then she shows up at the bridge and they're abducted and later found dead.
Right.
And that was not you.
No, 100% not.
Were you ever trying to meet these young girls in real life? No, never. I don't know, Kegan. I don't know about that. I think you were. That's just my opinion. Okay? I think some of these girls you were trying to meet and maybe have met. And I think more of that will be revealed. There will be more to be revealed on that.
Do you think you're going to be charged with anything related to Abby and Libby's murder?
No, I don't.
So the state police haven't threatened that?
No.
So Kegan is asked, why do you think investigators are putting so much of a focus on you? Kegan's answer is, I don't have a clue. Oh, wait, I think it's because I was the last person to be in touch with her, or the last person to email her. Folks, this is some pretty crazy stuff. I don't have a clue. But, I think it's because they think that I was the last one that, was in touch with her. I mean, obviously, they just don't think that. They have some kind of evidence in some way to point them in that direction, to have them talk to you about that. But I have to tell you, Kegan, in a way, you remind me of somebody. Okay, and I had to think about it for a while. I was thinking, who do you remind me of? You know, and back in the day, I received. I was corresponding with John Wayne Gacy, and here's the letter he sent me. Greetings, Mr. Kelly. I received your letter, and with regards to request for an interview, I will have to deny it. It's because he was getting ready to be executed. He was on death row. However, if you want to submit some questions writing, then I would be willing to answer them as long as you don't deal with my case. Well, why else would I be, trying to get in touch with you, John? In doing so, whenever I talk with anyone, I like to know that it is and what they're interested in and some common facts about them, which I would like enclosed in a bio sheet, which you can fill out and return to me. I also would like a photo of yourself as well. I'll answer what I can about my background, but I'm not going to get into my case. My policy is simple. No photo, no answer, no bio sheet in full, no time. You get no time. The correct way to address letters to me is on the envelope. You can drop the Mr. Gacy as I am just John W. or JW. I'm nobody, and this is where I've found all these guys fit in the niche. I'm nobody important. I'm just a guy caught up in the justice system. Take care for now. Kind regards, John. Now, all these guys seem to have this thing in common where they will deny to the end, and he did deny to the very end, although they did find, I believe it was 33 bodies in his cellar in a crawl space. Buried in his cellar. So, dear John, how did they get there? Well, John is no longer with us, as you know. He went through a pretty rough execution process, and he was dispatched, so he's gone. And I definitely wouldn't like to be going to where he is, I'll tell you that much. But, these guys all have the same hole in the center of, I would say, their body. It's not, they don't, I wouldn't call it a soul. I would call it a hole because there is no concern. There is no compassion. They have absolutely no empathy for their victims, the victims' families, or anybody else. It's as if they just are so hollow that they can't really or care to feel the same kind of concern as other people do, as most normal people do. The most important thing here is that, and I'm not saying that Kegan Kline is a murderer, certainly not John Gacy, but I'm getting some feelings and some vibes from him, and obviously we have some documentation, and obviously there's an electronic trail right back to him and the girls. So I'm very concerned on the way he's answered just a couple of questions in this interview. With all these guys, the one thing that's a constant, denial, 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 and usually no guilt or remorse for anything. Well, maybe I've talked too much today. I don't know. But anyway, those are my thoughts. Thank you so much. I can't thank you enough for all the kind comments we get. And you know, they don't have to be kind. You don't have to agree with me. You can comment on anything you'd like. Most importantly, you know, continue to stay in touch with us, comment, subscribe, like us. And I guess the very most important thing is for you to have a great day, enjoy yourself, take care of yourself, and thank you so much. Be safe and God bless.